to one and all, and today's topic is again object oriented programming with Java. So hope you understand yesterday's session on the looping statements, right? So as I told you yesterday, we have been started with some kind of looping statements in Java, that is something like while, do while and for loop. Yes, so we have been talking about yesterday, that is something called while loop. So I was been showing you a few examples on while loop. Yes, exactly. So that is what while loop working process, right? After that, I was given you two important points related to while block or while loop. The first one is while loop will execute as long as the condition is returns true. Yes, if any time the condition is false, then there will not be any statements which executes from your while block. All right. So I was given you an example also. For example, I have my condition is true. All right, and after that I have been my condition sometime wrong. All right. So basically, when I'm doing that, okay. So then we probably looking to after to that particular thing. All right. So now now whenever you're talking about this kind of application development, while loop will be used whenever you know the particular iterations are perfect. Nothing but it is exactly if you say that, for example, the part of a program which is executed for multiple times and you are never know how many times that particular loop has to be executed. All right. So nothing but the loop iterations is not fixed, then you can use while block. Yes. So then second thing is in while loop, the first condition will be tested, and as soon as the condition is tested, then after that you can have a group of statements is executed. Yes, those are the 2 points which you have to remember in every part of while loop, right? Because in interview they may ask you these questions: what are the important features of while block, and what is the execution process of while block? And today's my topic is how do you work with a do while, and along with that how do you work with for loop is, okay. And after that we could find out a few differences between while, do while and for loop is, okay. Now let me see the screen again. First thing, right? So I'm talking about a do while block. That Java do while block or do while loop used to iterate the part of program for several times. Anytime, anything, if you go for while, if you go for do while, or if you go for loop, anything, if you want to reiterate the part of program for multiple times or more than single time, then we can write several times. Then we usually use a while loop, do while or for loop. Yes. So what happened is, if the number of iterations again not fixed, if the number of iterations are not exactly fixed, or you never know how many times your block of program has to be executed in that time, and you must to execute the loop of at least for one time, and it is recommended to use compulsory do while loop. Okay, so I'll let you know what is the meaning of you must have to execute the loop at least for once. Okay, so I'll show you with an example, don't worry. All right, so now just you need to remember a few points from here. The point number one is the Java do while loop is used to iterate the part of program for several times. And second thing is, if the number of iterations are not fixed, nothing but you never know how many times you want to execute that particular block of code, then it is not exactly fixed. And you must have to execute the loop at least for once, nothing but you want to execute the loop at least for once, then it recommended you to use compulsory do while loop. Yes, in do while loop your particular statement will be like this. I mean to say your syntax will be something like this. First you have a do followed by a group of statements. Yes, this group of statement is followed by and increment or decrement operator here, as I was shown you yesterday also, and followed by while. Directly you have a condition here. If this condition depends on this condition, this while block will be used or will be iterate for multiple times, depends on the condition which is defined here. Yes, please note it down, the syntax for the to write the do while loop. Yes, how does it works? All right. So understand it very carefully. First thing is, we have a directly statements. As soon as the control is start executing do while, directly it executes this group of statement, nothing but in do we don't have any condition to be execute at that particular moment. Alright. So that what will happen is automatically a group of statements will be executed here. So now any group of a number of group of statements is executed from here, automatically it goes to check the condition here. Yes. So the condition has to be tested for at least once or twice or thrice, or depends on you. So then if any time the condition is true, then automatically it will be redirect to the place where your statements are defined as, right. For example, you have a group of statements here, again that will be executed. In case any time if the condition is returns false, then your block of code stop executes from the do block and it start executing the next lines of code which is presented in your Java program is. Yes, am I very clear? Alright. So now let me show you with a basic example how do you write this particular Java program is. Alright. So now first thing is I am trying to show you demonstration on your do while. I am trying to show you demonstration on your do while loop or do while loop, anything whatever you can say. Alright. So how does it would be? Same thing, what I want to do is I want to print numbers from 0 to 10. Yes, what we have already done in while loop, same thing I want to do here also, and here I want to show you what actually the difference between your while as well as a do while is. I just want to show you after this example or after one more example, I will show you the difference between a do while and a while. Yes, alright. So first thing is I do need to import a basic package called java.lang.star default package and followed by you can say java dot, you can have a class name, call it as scanner class, because whenever it required to take an input from the user, we do basically go for scanner class. Okay, say class demo31 is my class name, and every class we do required some kind of a static method, that is something called it as a string args. Okay, right. So need to write this particular class. All right. So once you write this particular method, yes, what I want to do is I just want to do something like this. First I will define a variable called I, yes, and after defining the variable I will just initialize the value. By default it is 0, because of what I want to print the numbers from where? I want to print the numbers from 0 to 10. Okay. If it is 1, you can just say that it will be start from 1. If it is 0, by default initial value is 0, so that I want to make it as 0 only. Yes, and after this I am constructing do block. Here do block does not have any condition. By default it does not have any condition initially. Directly a group of statements will be there. Right now I am writing only single statement to print the value of I for every time whenever the condition do is defined like this. Nothing but here sometimes you have only one statement, sometimes you may have 100 statements, sometimes you may have 1000 statements. That is depends on you how many times you want to execute a particular block of code. And say while this value of I is supposed to be less than or equals to 10, nothing but you want to make sure that the value has to be less than or equals to 10 times. Okay. So then what will happen is, so that it has to print the numbers from 0 to 10. See that what will happen here first of all. Okay. So after this statement I do write something called it as incrementation. What will happen if with this incrementation, every time it will increments your value by 1. For example, let us see here, by default what is the value of I here? It is 0. Do we have any condition here? No condition, no such condition of defined here. Then you can write here system.out.println, you can have some statement to be printed. That value, what is the value it has to be printed? It has to print the value as first time 0. Then after that it has to increment the value by 1, because I++ previously 0, now it is 1. So then after that what it condition is such a way that 1 is less than or equals to 10. Yes, a condition is true, right. So that what will happen is the control will never go back to the place where the do while loop ends. It again goes to the place where your do block is get started. Alright. So nothing but it will goes particular this place and execute the again this block of code. Previously what is the value will be printed 0, right, and followed by it will be prints the value as 1, then the value of I is incremented as 2 and your condition is becomes as 2 is less than or equals to 10. Yes, exactly correct. Again it goes to the do block, execute this particular block of code, and after this once it is executed for second time, then it will be prints a value as 2. Yes, then after that you can have the variable value to be incremented as 3. Now your condition becomes like this, 3 less than or equals to 10, correct. So again it will be goes this particular place and it will print you the value as 3, and here the value will be incremented as 4 and the condition becomes right now 4 less than or equals to 10. Again it is correct, it goes to print the value as 4. Like this it will be prints you the value from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to it prints the value as 10. Now this is also increments 10 to 11. Yes. Now whenever the value is incremented as 11, 11 is less than or equals to 10. Now condition is nothing something like this. Now 11 is less than or equals to 10, no, the condition is false, then automatically the control will never back to the place where your condition is defined as. Okay. So that's the reason whenever you are doing something to your program, first do the manual things. Okay. Try to do this particular kind of application operation, so that it would be very easy for you to predict the output of the programs. Yes, is it clear guys? Now I am going to save this particular program on the folder name called same folder name. Yes, now my file name is demo31 dot extension is .java, and I can say all the files here. So once if I save this particular program and I'll say open the command prompt. Yes, once you open the command prompt, go to the place where your programs are presented. Alright. Yes, you can just say that I can say file name, and here you do have a file name, something call it as demo31.java. Alright. So within this particular file we are trying to compile right now. Okay. So how do I compile it? It is pretty simple. You have a command name called javac, file name is 31.java. Yes. Demo31. Alright. So maybe yes, you have spell mistakes here. Right now it is correct. So that now you can compile your program with javac followed by demo31.java. It is got compiled successfully. Then you can execute this particular program demo31. So how many values is printed? As it is the value which is printed with a while block, same thing it is printed in do while block also. Any changes here? No changes, nothing but whenever I am using this kind of process, if I want to print the 0 to 10, I do write something same as while block, I can also write with do while block also, right. I will show you with an example when it is comes to the differences part. Yes, is it clear guys? Now I do want to print, okay, I'll have one more example. I want to write one more example where I want to print the values from 10 to minus 10. Okay. Alright, first thing is I want to print the numbers from where? 10 to minus 10, nothing but it has to be print the value something like this, 10, 9, 8, 7, it goes on 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 goes on, it has to be print up to minus 10, nothing but I want to print this particular values in this format. Alright, how do I print it? Let me find out with a simple example, right. Say import dot, you have a lang by default package, right? Your star represents the all the classes which is required. Say Java dot the other class name is util dot scanner class. Yes, and I do write a demo 3.2. Yes, sorry. Say public, right? Public static void main, right? A string args. All right. So now every method, if you want to execute compulsory, you should have this particular method. Okay. Once you write this particular method, it is all integer variable. Let's say integer variable is x. So from where I want to print this values from? I want to print this particular values from 10, right? So nothing but by default I will assign this value of x is equals to 10. So now after that I will decrement it, so that 10 becomes 9, right? Again I will decrement it, 9 becomes 8, 7, like this it will decrement it to 0. Again if I decrement it, it becomes as minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 up to it is minus 10. Nothing but I need to write a certain condition, right? So how do I write it? First I will use a do while block only, open do, alright. Within this system.out.println, right, I need to print the value of I, right. This not I, it is something say x, okay. So because we have variable name we have given as x, right. So give it as x, then you can just increment x plus plus or x minus minus. If I say x plus plus, what will happen now? 10 becomes 11, yes or no? But our requirement is 10 has to decrement by 9, nothing but 10 becomes 9, nothing but instead of that plus plus I have to use minus minus. In this case what will happen is your x plus plus becomes minus minus, where your 10 becomes 9, alright. Now it is okay now. Now what is the condition you need to write here? The condition has to be written. Previously what we used to write, less than or equals to, if I write minus 10, what will happen now? Minus, see that plus 10 is less than or equals to minus 10, is it correct? No, nothing but you have to change something here. What is that? The value of x has to be greater than or equals to minus 10, nothing but this loop has to be repeated for number of times when the value has to be becomes from plus 10 to minus 10. Yes, I do save this particular program, demo 3.2, alright, extension of this program is .java. I need to save all the files into the same directory and open my command prompt, right. So if I here I need to write Java C followed by demo 3.2.java is the name of the particular file is, alright. So it takes couple of seconds to compile your program, program compiled successfully. Then demo 3.2, execute this, it is printing the value. See that it is first it is started from 10, becomes 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Then again it is not started up to 0 and it is up to goes to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, again it goes to minus 10 also, alright. Nothing but whenever the requirement is to print numbers like this, instead of using plus plus here, you have to go for decrement operator. That is the reason I told you that here in this particular place, either you can use plus plus operator or you can also use sometime minus minus operator also. Am I very clear, guys? Clear with this example? Here also this example you can also write with the while block also. Please you guys try for an example, whatever I am trying to reach you with the do while here, you can try with while block also, while statement also, while loop also. Yes or no? Yes. So what I do is I want to write one more program with the same do while statement. Here in this program I want to print the numbers from minus 10 to plus 10. Previous example is to print what? Plus 10 to minus 10, right? Now this example is to print minus 10 to plus 10. What will happen right now is first minus 10, minus 9, minus 8, minus 7, right. It goes on up to 0, it goes up to 4, something like this, up to it has to be again 10. Previously we have printed from minus 10 plus 10 to minus 10 in this previous example, and in this example I want to print it from minus 10 to plus 10, right. How do you use it? Say import .lava.lang package and import .java, we can have a package name called util and need to use a class name called scanner class. Yes, and a class name I am writing as demo33. Yes, and every class of my program it required one static method to execute my program is. Okay. Yes, so now I have to write a string args, right. So within this particular class, right, what I need to write is I want to define a variable called a, or otherwise I will write C1. Okay, I will write a variable name called C1, and this C1 value has to be, for example, minus 10. By default I am defining, because I want to start printing the values from where? Minus 10, not plus 10. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to use same do block. Yes, within this do block I want to show you something called system.out.println, right. C1 value is supposed to be, your C1 value is supposed to be let us say C1, alright. Then shall I increment this value or shall I decrement? That is very important factor here. See that minus 10 here has to become minus 9, minus 9 has to become minus 8, minus 8 becomes minus 7. Nothing but if I decrement it, for example, let us see, imagine that I want to decrement it, C1 minus minus, what will happen is minus 10 minus 1, it becomes as minus 11, yes or no? For example, let us see that previously it is, let us see, it is previously what? Minus 10, right. Previously it is minus 10, nothing but what will happen is minus 10 minus 1, it becomes as minus 11, nothing but minus minus operator does not works here, right. So that's reason you have to use again plus plus operator here, so that minus 10 becomes minus 9. And what is the condition I need to write? Condition I have to write here as C1 is supposed to be less than or equals to plus 10, nothing but minus 10 is less than or equals to 10, minus 9 is less than or equals to 10, minus 8 less than or equals to 10, 0 is less than or equals to 10, 9 is less than or equals to 10, 10 is also less than or equals to 10. So nothing but as the requirement is like this, someone is asked you to print the numbers from like this, you have to use this particular logic for that. Okay. Now I am going to save this particular program. Alright, extension of my program is .java, save this particular program. Yes, first thing is I need to compile the Java program, Java C followed by demo33.java, just compile this particular program and just say demo33, execute this particular program, and you can see that it is printing the value, C1 value starts from minus 10, minus 9, minus 8 up to 0, again it is up to 10 is nothing but if you just define this condition is up to 20, then the values will be printed from minus 10 to plus 20. Yes, in the same manner you can use this do while block. Yes, but only one important point which I was discussed here, right. So what is the important point I just want to show here is, the very important point is you must have to execute the loop for at least once. Okay, what it mean to say that? For example, let us see that I just want to change this condition, C1 has to be greater than or equals to 10. By logically just think about it, without having any condition directly while loop do block will be get executed, so that what is the value will be printed? The value which is printed here minus 10, yes or no? Once the minus 10 is printed, it is incremented, nothing but it becomes as minus 9, but minus 9 is not greater than or equals to 10. yes or no? But in logically it's supposed to not to execute, but whether this program is executing anything or not, let me check it out. Let me check it out first, right? So instead of giving you overall, I'm just want to show you with this part. All right. So now let me say CL. Then I can say Java C followed by demo33.java. Yes, exactly. Now actually logically it's supposed to not to execute because the condition is false. But what it will be prints here? It is printing the value as -10, nothing but irrespective of the condition what you have defined here. Irrespective of this condition, whether it is true, whether it is false, doesn't matter for this. But as the do does not define with any kind of condition, directly the while block is executing here. Yes or no? As soon as this while block is executing, if a condition is false, then the control will not go back to the do block, it directly goes to the place. If any statements which is presented here, let me say system.out.println say out of do while loop. Yes, okay. So this is how you can able to define the programs. Okay, now let me show you once again the compilation program. All right. So see that first time value is printed, but the program directly transferred to do while block is. Okay. Now let me write the same program, same kind of program with while block statement. Now already I was shown you yesterday. Now let me show you with a simple example. Differences here. Say java.lang dot star represents you all classes. Say import dot java dot, I can say a package name is util, I can say scanner class. Say class, say demo34 open close, say public static void main, say string args. Yes, and for example, if I am defining, okay, I will do write the same program is here. My intention also print the same condition. By wanted, I want to make this condition as false. Okay, I will do one thing. While the C1 has to be not less than, it has to be greater than or equals to +10. Within this while block, I want to write some message here. Say system dot out dot println, say that here I just want to print the value of C1, C1 is equals to plus C1, make sure that you can say C1 plus plus, right. So just write it as system dot out dot println, say out of while loop. Yes. So now again I save this particular program. The program name is demo34 dot extension is dot java. All right. So now what happened with this particular program? This particular program is printed at least once. Nothing but this particular line of code is executed. But whether what happened with this part? Now let me check it out. Java C demo 34.java. Okay, so I'm going to save this particular program once again, save as demo34.java. Make sure that all files. All right. So just compile this program. Your program is got compiled successfully. All right. So now you can just say that Java C, say demo34. Okay. Right. So now let's see that directly it is going to out of loop. Nothing but the no statement is executed from here. Yes or no? Is there any statements are executed here? no statements are executed, directly the control is transferred to out of while loop is nothing but here in this particular do while, this particular line of code executed for at least once, whereas in do while whereas in while loop there is no statements is executed from this particular block of code is. Is it clear, guys? So, that is the reason there are the 2 points which you have to remember in terms of a do while is, right. First very important point you need to remember is in do while loop, first statements will be get executed, after that the condition will be tested. Okay. Nothing but first you have a particular group of statements will be get executed and then your condition, nothing but it is totally different from the place where your while loop is. Okay. Now, second important point is in do while loop, the loop will get executed at least for once, irrespective of the condition what you have defined is. Am I very clear, guys? Right. So, I am repeating the 2 points again. In do while loop, first condition will be, there is no condition will be defined. So, that first a group of statements which is defined in a while block that will be get executed. Once it is done, it is goes to a while block and check the condition. Okay. And second important point about this is, for example, when we have something like a do while block, first you have a condition has to be tested, right, and then I mean to say bit different, nothing but if you say while, first thing be concentrate while, in while what will happen is the first condition will be tested, right, then after that group of statements will be get executed, yes or no. And second thing is in do while, first statements will be executed and after that condition will be tested. And second important point is if a particular thing is not defined, properly, then there is no statements will be executed from while block, but whereas goes to a do while block compulsory there would be a statements, minimum one statement will be executed from do while block. Please see the screen again. Alright. So, now you have a few statements and this particular thing. Okay. Now, let me show you one more thing. Yes. For example, please note it down the points which is displaying on your screen, right. First with the condition, okay. First you have a basic what I can call it as syntax. First while you have a condition and the body of the particular loop will be get executed, and next one is do while. First you have a do, there is no condition is defined, a statements will be get executed, body of the loop, and then you have a while block. Whereas controlling of condition in while loop, the controlling of condition appears at the start of your loop, whereas do while the condition will be appears at the end of the loop. And second thing is iterations. The iterations is not occurred if the condition, if the first condition is false or something like that, and here if iterations occurs at least once even if the condition is false. So, at the time you have a first iteration will be happened from your do while. Please note it down, these 3 points very important, very important. In interview 100% they will ask you the question on what are the differences between while and do while is, when in which circumstances where you have to use while as well as do while is. I can use do while blocks whenever a group of statements has to be executed at least for once, irrespective of the condition, what is the condition is defined over there. But For example, where I have to use a particular while loop is here, I don't know how many times that particular loop has to be executed, then I can use for while block is. Please see the screen once again, so that is what you have to remember when you go for applications. And let me start with one more loop here, that is something called it as a for loop, right? Very easy loop. Just look at here first of all. Java for loop is used to iterate the part of program in all the time, okay, and if the number of iterations are not fixed, or you see that previously it is not fixed, now it is fixed. If the number of iterations is fixed, then it is recommended you to use compulsory for loop is. So nothing but you know how many times you want to execute some part of program. So previously you never know, now you are very well, you are very aware of this, so then you can go for loop here. In this particular for loop, there are the three expressions will be defined here. Expression 1, expression 2 and expression 3. Expression 1 is suggests you for initializing the variable, and expression 2 is user defined condition, and expression 3 is increment या decrement. Please write the syntax for the for loop is. Right. Once you write this, you can just check it out here, the flow chart of a for loop is. See that first initialization takes place, then it goes to the second part, it would be user defined condition. If the condition is returns true, a group of statements is executed from the for loop. If condition is returns false, it directly goes to end of the for loop. If it is executed for the first time, then it goes to the place where your increment and a decrement operator, nothing but this is your expression 3, right. Expression 3 will be evaluated. If this evaluated, the control again transferred to condition, check the condition, returns true, come down, execute the group of statement, go back and increment and decrement this, and you can go for the condition all the time. Alright. So how do you do it in practical use? Okay. So now let me show you with an example for this. Import.java.lang.star. Say import java.util.scanner class. Alright. Say class name is demo35. Yes. Now this particular class public static void main string, I can say args. Alright. Now here I just want to define a variable x. Alright. Here I want to print the values from again 0 to 10 for the first time. So how do I print it? Let's see with an example. Previously we used to initialize the variable within this particular program, right? So here we used to initialize the variable. Now it is not required to initialize, because for loop there are the three expressions will be defined here, right? This first expression is stands for initializing the variable. Second one is defining a condition, how many times you want to iterate this loop, and then you can go for taking a increment, yeah, decrement. System dot out dot I can say print ln. So you can print x plus, you can probably print the value of x is. Yes. So what will happen with this particular example? Let me show you with an thing. So demo35 dot extension of this program is .java, because it's a Java program. Let's say save this particular program, right? Again go to the command prompts, open your command prompts. Okay. So now let's see Java C, right, demo35.java. Okay. Then execute this particular program, say demo35. Yes, what is the policy is printing? It is printing the values from 0 to 10. So what is you guys has to do is try to print the values from -10 to +10, and try to print the values from +10 to -10. Please practice all these examples and print the values from -10 to +0. Okay. So this is your thing is okay. So in the next coming part, I'm going to explain you where actually you have to use for loop, while loop and do while loop is okay. These three comes under your the process of looping statements. Your looping statements is about these three process okay. So that's it. I'm going to wind up the session for today, right? So in today's session, we are being learned about your while, do while, and for loop. Okay. So and I have given you an examples or differences between while and do while, and also give you the next time I'll give you any differences between while as well as for loop and while as well as do while is. All right. Thank you so much for listening to my class. Have a great day. By the way, I'm Anil Kumar, the trainer of APSSDC.